I only want the good vibes around me and my kids. Ultimately, we are setting the stage for our kids to glean insight into what's important and the kind of lives we hope for them to lead and the kind of values that we hope we instill.
Not every friend can serve every need that you have, and I think you have to feel the same way about your partner.
I never thought I'd be able to make lifelong friends again. I thought I had them and that was it. You can make lifelong friends at different stages of life. I found that throughout my life, I've been really intentional about putting myself into places to meet people that I wouldn't have traditionally met in my immediate surroundings.
Yeah. Do you feel like sometimes we just go on different paths? I find this. My best friends from high school are no longer my best friends.
I say to my kids all the time, they ask me, who's your best friend? Who's your best friend? I say, I don't have best friends. I mean, I have my husband, but I don't have best friends. And I tell them, I'm like, I'm not into collecting best friends. When people are like, this is my best friend, this is my best friend. You can have a lot of good friends. I'm just not into the whole like best friend thing.
Hi, everyone. We are here live. So excited to be here with Rebecca Smith. She is the founder of Mamala Organics. It's functional support snacks for women's health. Super cool. They're like little pouches that you think are for your kids, but they're not. They're finally something for the woman. And Rebecca and I met through Misha. I had a different episode where we talked to the founder of Misha. It was this beautiful mom community network, and she and I have become friends since then, and we're actually here to talk about friendship. So Rebecca, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yay. Okay, we're gonna talk about, I love this episode specifically for women because I think that once you become a mom, friendships, they kind of get layered. And there's like a million different types of friendships, right? As an adult, what do you feel like has been the most surprising thing about friendships that you've created in adulthood?
Yeah. Well, like a million different things. But one thing that really stands out is we move through these different phases of our lives where we're in these kind of contained environments where it's like there's an ecosystem around us and we operate within that ecosystem. And then you
when we're little.
Yes.
Yeah.
When we're little, all the way through college and then first jobs or whatever that might be. And then you enter motherhood oftentimes at different points than your close friends. And you are kind of just navigating this aimless space where you don't necessarily have a community to fall into. It's a very isolating time, obviously. And you want to kind of, on the one hand, you want to be intentional about your friendships as you get older. And on the other hand, you're like, I'm just looking for a warm body to be with me while I'm like with my kid for all this time. You know, my tiny kid that might not, that's not speaking and not doing much, but I need some sort of human connection. The most surprising thing is kind of like how you navigate that. And then as your kids get older, kind of how that changes.
Yeah. Yeah. That whole planning out our pregnancies with our friends didn't work out for me. So I was always ahead. No one else was pregnant. So everyone was spring breaking or doing whatever they were doing as I was postpartum. And then, as most people know, I ended up getting divorced and with one child, and then many years later got remarried, and now I'm on round 2 of a toddler, and boy, I am with very, very young moms. So the timing thing for me with what you're saying, it never aligned with my friends, and it's kind of been so tricky to kind of find my own friendships that align with my kids' ages. But you're right. I almost feel like there's different kinds of friendships that we have to look at for different things, and they serve different purposes, right? So let's talk about freshly postpartum. What happens freshly postpartum in this most isolating stage?
Well, it's interesting how you said that you were so far ahead of so many of your friends, because then you're friends don't know really how to show up for you because they've never experienced this stage of life. So it's kind of adds to the isolation.
Yeah. They don't get, they'll show up, but they don't get it.
Yeah. So they just they can't relate.
Yeah.
But amazing that they showed up.
Yeah.
For me, I had my first in New York, and then just a few months later COVID hit, and then we moved down to Miami, and I knew no one.
Yeah.
And it was the middle of COVID.
And you couldn't even be close to anyone.
No.
So where are you meeting people in COVID?
The park was closed. Then it opened. And it was so isolating. Thankfully, one friend from New York texted me and said, there's one woman down there that you should meet. So she coordinated with us, had me drop a pin where I was, and she lived on the island next to us. And she became like my life force during COVID. We would do these walks together. She was so normal and so cool. And I was just so happy that I had found somebody like that could be the touch point.
Yeah.
As kind of life started happening and I was doing Mommy and Me, you kind of end up in these scenarios where you're amongst a lot of women, but you're like half your brain is just focusing on your kid and the other half of brain is like kind of comatose in these like repetitive conversations with these women. Yeah. And you're like,
is yours walking it? Are they saying any words? Are they pooping normal? Like you're just like,
yeah.
Is this the depth of my friendship?
And then you go home and you're like, what the fuck did I say? Because you don't even know what you said in that room with those people. And so it's this weird kind of superficial aspect of it. And I don't know when you're able to cross that threshold, but I never thought I'd be able to make lifelong friends again. I thought I had them and that was it. And I'm here to say you can make lifelong friends at different stages of life, because now I look back on the past 5 years living down here and I'm just like immensely grateful. It took like 2 years to really find who those people are, but I'm still finding them. Like we found each other on a whim.
Yeah. Like right now in life. And it's really interesting because you moved. I had the opposite experience where I grew up here. I left for college, but I've been here my whole life. And I've also been in this grown in this little bubble where everybody goes to the same school. Everybody goes to the same after school activities at the JCC and everybody lives in the same area. People from Aventura don't leave Aventura. So it's very just
it's a nice place.
It is a nice place. It's very much like this close, tight-knit place, which on the one hand is so beautiful. I'm so grateful for it. On the other hand, it's kind of what you were alluding to in the beginning, where your relationships are sort of dictated by the space you're in. And it's almost like you don't really know there's more. Does that make sense? So it's not until, I have to say now, like I just turned 40, it is not until probably year 38 that I was like, oh, there's like more. And there's different kinds of depths and different kinds of friendships for different things. And there's the friends that it took me a really long time to learn that not every friend can serve every need that you have. And I think you have to feel the same way about your partner when you have a partner, right?
That's what I was literally thinking as you said that.
And that once you grasp that, oh my gosh, it's so freeing because you stop like living your life angry, right? And being disappointed all the time. So for me, the friendship thing, like I spent a lot of my time disappointed in people because I think that I'm a very giving friend. When I go in, I go all in. And so my expectations are for it to be reciprocal. And it's only again now in adulthood that I understand not everybody has the same capacity. Not everybody has the same interest in doing that, right, for their friends. And I might not be the level of friend that I think someone is to me. So it's taken a lot of pain probably, but I finally feel kind of liberated in the sense that we can have like friends in different buckets for different things. And there's nothing wrong with that. So like, I know, for example, Maya, my toddler, that the friends I have around her age are really mom friends that are toddler mom friends. And like, I don't really think it's going to go beyond that. Like our kids go through the same stages together. We compare, we laugh, we get them together. But these aren't the people that I'm having like soulful conversations with. Misha moms, right? Where I met you, it was so incredible because I never thought that I would find this at this point in my life. But the depth of these connections, and these are people that I just met, is incredible. So what I think starts to happen is you start to choose or kind of box, or categorize your friendships based on like values as you develop them. Do you find that that's happened for you?
My mind's exploding. I have 1 million things to say about every single thing you just said. But yeah, I'll start at the top. What you're saying about seeking out people who have similar value sets or similar interests, I think it's really, our lives are so busy when we have little kids. And, to try and carve out time for your kids and your work and your partner, and friendship's kind of like, it's part of the mix, but it's not kind of in like the top three typically.
Spotlight. But we do need those friends that are like the logistical friends in the beginning, because that does become your support system.
But like, I would encourage anyone that is curious about establishing kind of beyond surface, superficial level friendships, to seek out the places where, again, this isn't a promo for Misha. It happened to be Misha that we met, but I found that throughout my life, I've been really intentional about putting myself into places to meet people that I wouldn't have traditionally met in my immediate surroundings. Yeah. People that are different than my friends, people who are outside of kind of my demographics, if you will. Like that has always been something super intentional because I wanted to find I wanted those kinds of people in my life to fit into my life, not to fit into my life, but to, you know, I wanted that kind of larger expanse of friendships. And also my mom set a really great example. I've watched my mom throughout her entire life have these long-standing friendships with people from high school, from college, from when she lived in Atlanta, from when she lived in New York, from, you know, when she lived in Israel, wherever she had these friends that she's stayed in touch with all of these years. And I thought it brought so much color to her life and to all of our lives that she's held on to them and has always explored more and what more could add to her life. Wow. Also, a thing my husband said to me very early in our relationship, and some people might think this is mean, but I just thought it was honest. He said to me, Rebecca, I'm never going to be able to be your girlfriend. And it was like
so important, actually.
So profound.
Yeah.
Every woman should know what we just said. Like your partner cannot be all the things for you. You
not
need
your
to
therapist.
Not your therapist. You need to be certain things for yourself. You need to have certain friends that are certain people for you. And then your partner, you know, fills some of those buckets. But it's something that has stuck with me, since the moment he uttered those words.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing. I think that he vocalized what a lot of people are trying to vocalize, but they don't know how. And you went and found yourself your girlfriends, which is amazing too. You know, let's kind of talk about what happens because those lifelong friends, for example, that your mom has modeled, sometimes, and there's such a beauty to the commitment you have to certain friendships. And sometimes you feel like you outgrow certain friendships. I think that people think that like something has to happen, like this big dramatic thing, or like they really had to like hurt you in some way. But do you feel like sometimes we just go on different paths and it could just be, I find this, my best friends from high school are no longer my best friends. And like, it's okay to say, I feel like everyone's like, my best friend growing up, that was my best friend growing up. And now we have just gone different paths and nothing happened. You know, I really love these people and I send them love all the time, but we're just very, very different people now. So I think that's also like a not said thing.
I love that you're saying that. I love that you have the confidence to say that about, I'm sure, people that listen to this podcast.
I love you.
But I say to my kids all the time, they ask me, who's your best friend? Who's your best friend? I say, I don't have best friends. I mean, I have my husband, but I don't have best friends. And I tell them, I'm like, I'm not into collecting best friends. When people are like, this is my best friend, this is my best friend. Like, you can have a lot of good friends, but I'm just not into the whole like best friend thing. And on my way over here, I was thinking about this and I kind of like I don't know if anybody else does this, but like I kind of ran the movie of my life through my head, thinking about all these people that have come in and out of my life, and a reason, a season, or a lifetime. There's this one woman who is amazing. And every time I go back to Denver, which is where I'm from, I always say to my girlfriend, Kelly, I'm like, what happened to her? Like, why aren't we friends anymore? We were such good friends. And I could never put my finger on what happened because nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
And she reached out to me a couple weeks ago and she was like, hey, I love what you're doing. And I'm so excited for you. And I'm so proud of you. And I was like, nothing happened. Like, we still have so much love for each other. But
can that just be okay?
I think so.
That's the thing too. Like friendships require a lot of energy and a lot of time, and we really have limited energy. So like we can't be, and this was me, and I talk about this from personal experience. Like my days were filled with like checking in on every single relationship and friendship that I had. And then I got nothing else fucking done.
Yeah.
Until I'm like, but it came from a place of lack. It really did. It came from a place of like, I just want to make sure this person still knows that I care about them so that they care about me. Does that make sense? So like I really had to dig deep and be like, where is this like anxiety stemming from that I have to be like on everybody's mind? It really it was something about me that I needed to work through, right? And now I'm in this season of just kind of surrendering more and like letting things be and be like, the people I will connect with are the people I will connect with. And there's so many people, like, thankfully I have so many people that I love in my life, but again, seasons for sometimes I'm going to connect with some more than others. And you only have a certain amount of energy to expend, I think, too. So I think it's just like, it doesn't have to be something personal. It just has to be whatever's like in your orbit right now as well.
Totally.
Too.
And like sometimes people are called back into your life without, for what reason? I don't know. But I do, like, when I get like a spark of somebody's essence or energy that comes up, I always like feel inclined to like send them a text, say, I just want you to know I'm thinking about you.
Yeah. That's perfect. I love that so much. But I do think, I'm in this season of my life right now where I'm feeling so called to surrounding myself with women, which I think it only comes from all the work I've done. And
was that not, did you not have like a strong female community growing up?
I did, but it was not the same. It just was there because it's how I grew up, and those were the people that were around. It wasn't as intentional as I feel right now. I actually feel like I went on my first women's retreat. I'm going on another women's retreat. Like, I really actually feel I'm trying to like put the right words to this, but I feel like the power of the circle of women. And I know that sounds really woo-woo, but for real, I feel that now, like, to my core. And before it was just like, let's like go have fun, right? Let's go have fun. I want my friends to like go out and then go to brunch the next day and talk about all the shit that happened the night before, right? It was like that kind of fun. Yeah. And then it was also like the mom friends where we're all going through the same thing. But now I still need all of that, by the way. Like, I think it's a balance, right? We still need like lightness and fun and
that
like
levity.
Yeah, for sure. But now I also am feeling so called to like just the power of women who actually, because this is the other thing that's tricky to find, women who actually really encourage and support each other and can leave kind of like the envy and jealousy aside, because that's hard to find.
Yeah,
too.
That's complicated.
We're complicated beings.
Yeah, it's complicated. Your energy, my energy, our energy is so sensitive to what we surround ourselves with. And I too am in the season where I only want the good vibes around me, and my kids.
Yeah.
And, that's a big part of like intention setting around these friendships, like calling in the kind of friendships you want. Yeah. Because ultimately we are setting the stage for our kids to glean insight into what's important.
100%.
And the kind of lives we hope for them to lead, and the kind of values that we hope we instill. And I talk to friends about this a lot, especially raising your kids in a city. They're exposed to so much, and you really have to be thoughtful about the people you expose your kids to.
Yeah.
What's their value set? What are their morals?
Yeah.
How do they talk about other people around your kids? How do they talk about each other? How do they talk about their children? How do they speak to their children? All of that is setting an example.
I want to tell you about this app that I discovered that is super helpful. It's a parenting app, and it's called Wizer, Wizzer. It's a parenting app that uses AI to give you personalized support for hard stuff like tantrums, sleep struggles, screen time battles, and many more things. It provides 24/7 expert-backed tools and real-time coaching. It also helps you raise kids with empathy, emotion regulation, and life skills that matter the most. They believe that no parent should feel alone, and that's why they created this safe, judgment-free community to connect and grow with other people who get it. They are providing my listeners with a 2-month free trial with a promo code BLOOM2FREE. That is BLOOM 2 FREE. Hey everyone, it's Evelyn. Thank you so much for tuning in. Your support truly means the world to me. If you're interested in hosting a parenting workshop, I'd love to connect. Whether it's a private session for parents, a school event, or a corporate workshop, I'm here to help bring valuable insights and strategies to your community. Let's chat and make it happen. Please visit hatchandbloom.co. That's .co. Or you can email me at evelyn@hatchandbloom.co.
100%. And I love that you're bringing in the kids factor, because I think we can kind of segue into like what we're modeling. First of all, we're setting, like you're saying, we're setting this environment the same way that we grew up in our environment. This was our orbit. That's who we become friends with. We are totally kind of selecting this environment to, for which our kids will understand what friendships are like, what relationships are like, what this is their blueprint, right, that we're giving them. And then the other thing is like not just what we're showing them about us, but we're teaching them about their own ability to have friendships and what that means. And I have to tell you, from lots of parents that I see, kids have a really hard time navigating social dynamics in school, and parents have a really hard time when they don't think that their kids have so many friends. And this is also something that I think we need to kind of talk about here, because I love that you're like, I don't have a best friend, because that's actually so refreshing. Like, I haven't ever heard anybody say that before. And I love that you say that to your kids, because this is really one of the first questions I hear parents always ask their kids. And I actually ask kids a lot of times, like, who's your best friend? Who's your best friend? And I love that you're breaking that, being like, what does that even mean? It's true, because first of all, it can, we know kids, right? So they're like, you're my best friend and I love you, and I don't like you anymore. You're not invited to my birthday party. And that can be all within the same day, right?
Absolutely.
So let's kind of pick apart, like think about your kids. Like, what do you want them to know about friendships, even this young? Because they're already learning. So what would you like them to know?
Good question. I want them to know that at the core of friendship is kindness, always.
Yeah.
And you can be honest and kind, and you could be all the things with kindness leading the way.
Yeah.
And we talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you roll over, and it doesn't mean that you can't have an opinion, but we're always leading with kindness.
And how old are your kids?
My kids are, next month, they'll be 4.5 and 6.5.
6.5 is really getting into that.
Yeah,
awareness,
Sylvie, for like
awareness.
the first time, has like a girl crew.
Yeah.
And I love that for her.
Yeah.
We're not like a big family that like I'm making play dates for her every weekend.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Same.
That's not happening. But she has these like 5 girls that she's very close with at school. And
It's just kind of organic.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like letting it lie.
Yeah.
And Stanley, my younger one, he has these like type boys that he loves. And they are really confident in their friendships. And I want them to hold on to that.
Yeah.
I'm just like, hold on to it, that you can be your full self and totally you. And you are not accommodating and bending to suit someone else. Because like one of my earliest memories, we moved from Connecticut to Colorado, and I started at a new school, and it was in 2nd grade. And there was this girl who didn't let me be on the swing set. It was like this crew of 3 girls. And she didn't let me come on the swing set. Fast forward, love her today. She's a wonderful woman and an incredible doctor. But she's part of a formative memory. And I told Sylvia the story of it the other day. And she said, well, what did you do? And I said, well, I went and found other friends. And that's how I met my friend Abby. Shout out to Abby. She's like one of the most amazing lactation consultants ever. And Abby and I, we crushed the monkey bars day in and day out, and so happy that I had found her in the 2nd grade. But I want them to hold on to the confidence and their sense of self in these relationships.
That's exactly what I was going to say, that I always tell kids, and what I always tell my daughter, my eldest now, is that it's like, whoever you can just be you around, that is your friend, right? The thing is, it's tricky, because let's be realistic. Like, we know that humans, are wired to really have a strong sense of belonging. And so as they kind of understand what belonging means, they do start to kind of change or adapt, or they're like chameleons, right? Yeah. But this is also part of biology. Like, they have to belong to survive in a pack, right? Like, that's really where it comes from. I'm actually writing a chapter on this right now, but basically it's tricky, because on the one hand, there's the biological, like, kind of need to, like, I need to kind of fit in. And on the other hand, you're like, okay, but how can I help them fit in without losing who they are? And this becomes so hard, I think, closer to puberty, where you don't even know who you are. So it's like that. It's like, who, like me being myself, like, who is myself? Like, I don't
that is so closely linked to matrescence. The same synapses are going off in our brain. Like, we're going through that same pattern there. Who are we? Who are we becoming in this part of our life? What do we want to call in? What kind of relationships are going to be important to us? Who are we in these new relationships?
I love this. This is full circle.
Totally.
Like, we've just come full circle, right? So,
and we're going through that as our kids.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're modeling this, we're navigating this with our kids. And I love that you sharing our stories, our tricky friendship stories with our kids is so, so helpful, because it's very lonely for them to feel left out, or to feel bullied, or to feel
totally
different.
And my mom did a really good job, again, preparing me to know that we get older in age, but people's behavior does not change. She's like, the same sorts of people that are going to make you feel left out and bully and have those behaviors, that happens in your 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s, in your 70s. You know, we're preparing our kids now for a lifetime of having to contend with those sorts
skills.
of things. But
100%.
you're setting yourself up to like create a who gives a fuck attitude around it. And that's all you want from them. For them, like
you want them to be able to assert themselves and be able to say like, this is not good for me, or this is wonderful for me, and kind of understand how to move with their own internal compass. That's compass starts to kind of get faded out as popularity comes in and fitting in comes in and all this stuff. So really starting to drive these values on friendship, like kindness, respect, being yourself, like these kinds of things since very early. It's never too early to model this and to start teaching your kids. And again, here we are, full circle, really trying to find that for ourselves. I think it's so important for women to have their support system.
And our intuition, which I think it's hard for a lot of us to like tap into like our intuition. What is our intuition? But I'll share a small example of when you can kind of feel that glimmer of your intuition. We were at the One Tribe. Evelyn walked in. It was the first time I had ever been to, I wasn't even in this
it was my
mom's
first
group.
event too.
It was like Marika and I had met through a mutual friend, and she was like, come to this.
Yeah. I wasn't in it yet either.
Yeah, so we were at the One Tribe. You walked in through the doors, you walked down the hallway, and I saw you, and I was like, I need to know her. And I would encourage other women, when you feel that way about somebody, your intuition is telling you something. Go over and introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Establish that. Call in what you're looking for community.
I love that. Amazing. This is so, there's we could go on about this forever. But
3 days worth.
Yes. But this is so beautiful, so helpful for us, for our kids. So I appreciate your time so much, your wisdom.
I appreciate yours.
I love being your friend. Thank you for having me on many layers. Tell us a little more about your support snacks and what they're good for. Yeah.
We can talk about it. I just so happen to have one here of our Mamala support snacks. So Evelyn has tried these before, but my biggest pain point during postpartum was my inability to properly nourish myself. So I'd be eating all my supplements. 4 o'clock would roll around. It'd be, a half an eaten bagel, a half a bowl of oatmeal. And I was like, I cannot live like this. It was impacting my mental, physical, emotional health. So I went to find a great snack option, a lot of amazing balls, bars, and cookies that were really focused on lactation support. And I was looking for full spectrum postpartum healing and recovery. 50% of women are no longer breastfeeding after the first 3 months, but 100% of us are contending with the full spectrum of postpartum symptoms. So hormone regulation and balance, immunity, digestion, and microbiome health, tissue repair and muscle function, calm energy, sleep support, and lactation support. I'm big into food as medicine. So I met this incredible dietitian, and basically what we're doing is getting you all the functional whole foods you need, organic, putting it in a pouch, shelf stable, super convenient. We have 3 flavors for our postpartum healing and recovery collection. It's a 10-year nutrient critical life stage. People don't realize, they think it's the 4th trimester and that's it. We're contending with this for up to a decade.
Oh my God.
So this is an easy grab and go snack option. Have it in your diaper bag, have it in your car, have it in the soccer bag for those of us with big kids. And it's a great way to get in those whole foods that we really struggle getting in.
Can kids have those too?
Yes. Okay. We ran a beta. We're about to relaunch, but we ran a beta, and 11% of the customers, we sold out in 4 weeks, but they came back within a week and a half because they were like, my kids and my husband keep eating it. There's no ingredient in here that you wouldn't give your kid. We just happen to make this for what a mom's body actually needs, but the whole family can enjoy it.
I love it. That's a different kind of support that women need, but definitely a very critical one. So Mamala, where can we find your product?
MamalaOrganics.com, and pretty soon in a store near you.
Yay. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I love you.
Hey everyone, it's Evelyn. Thank you so much for tuning in. Your support truly means the world to me. If you're interested in hosting a parenting workshop, I'd love to connect. Whether it's a private session for parents, a school event, or a corporate workshop, I'm here to help bring valuable insights and strategies to your community. Let's chat and make it happen. Please visit hatchandbloom.co. That's .co. Or you can email me at evelyn@hatchandbloom.co.